Welcome along, everyone, to round 14. This is our final mystery wheel of silver. Of course, fourth and final one as well. Goodness gracious me. No, Mexico, says Mr. Rage. Delando wants a Brazilian fest. And, Smarsky is hoping for Viva Las Vegas. Las Vegas, Brazil, and Mexico are all on the wheel then, just like last night. And let's get going then. Mr. Rage, who's invited this guy? As we go up, I hope he's not talking about me. But then again, who would have invited me? I blame Smithy. The Las Vegas is off the wheel, so Las Vegas will not be raced upon here tonight, which is such a shame, because I kind of hope that Brazil is not on tonight, because I want to see all three tracks that is being represented then. But Vegas will not be driven on tonight, and it might be on tomorrow, and who knows? ZX is off. Oh, and Brazil is not going to be raced upon here tonight then. So it is going to be Viva Mexico then for round 14 of the World Championship in silver. And, my goodness gracious me then. And I hope you've all got your tacos ready and all that kind of stuff, but which is probably not very PC of me to say anymore, is it? Goodness me. Sue, says Mr. Rage. Hey guys, says Rocket Lee. Mexico, says Mr. Rage. Evening, Shannon. Good evening, Miss Mushroom. We have also got Marsky is not a happy chappy either, as yes. So not very happy either is Marsky. Where's my live feed gone? Oh, this isn't very good, is it? Goodness me. All right, but yeah, Mexico is the circle off the board. So we have Brazil last night, we have Mexico tonight, which hopefully means tomorrow. Wait, actually, if I'm racing tomorrow, I don't want Las Vegas because I can't drive around there. Even though it is like a pig, you would think that I'd actually drive really well in a pig-shaped circuit, but no. And also because there's also basically straights everywhere, so you would think I'd be all right. But let's be honest, I was also rubbish at the old Hockenheimer ring as well. Penalty City, says Serious Mushroom. Actually, talking of which, I got my best ever result in ALR here with second position back in season 3. So yep, so that is my claim to fame, mainly because everyone had penalties and somehow I did not, but I think I was too slow to get a penalty. Phew, no turn 3 repeat, says Rocket Leader. And we've also got to Real Ashton there with his eyes and lurking on the prize potentially, and Legends as well. Good evening to Legends. By the way, when we was talking to Jamie Morris yesterday, I think I've been saying your name wrong all this time, haven't I, Legends? So I apologise profusely. I'm saying it wrong again because I can't remember what Jamie Morris said now. But absolutely shocking stuff indeed, this old ginger guy is. But nevertheless, I try my best, and sometimes it goes a bit ends up, doesn't it? Drivers in the constructors stand and said, as we are ready to get going in for the Mexico City Grand Prix. It's not called the Mexican Grand Prix anymore because of all the rights and all that jazz. Flippy, 4 wins on the bounce there. Of course, I was skiving last week, mainly because this time last week I was still in a traffic jam. 4 wins on the bounce there for Flippy. Can he go 5? Can he become Booker T 5 times? That'd be incredible, wouldn't it, from Flippy? And I think that is the most in silver history. Maybe I keep saying this. I should have looked it up really. Delano is second and 20 points and separates gap. There are no championships can be won here tonight, of course. However, if Flippy wins, he'll be in prime position to clinch the championship in a week's time in Qatar. Same for the constructors champion. Oh my goodness me! It is raining cats and dogs then, or dogs and cats. And do they even have cats and dogs in Mexico? I assume they do, don't they? To be honest, it's just I don't know much about the world, to be honest. You can say however you like. Jamie Morris is saying it wrong. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all, Legends. I reckon you're pulling my leg. I wouldn't pull too hard, though, because unfortunately you might get a whole bill of weight fall on you. Right, as we go on with the show, shall we? Intermediate tyres. I'm surprised of intermediate tyres because I thought that it was actually going to be 4 wet tyres out there. We've got 4 reserves in here tonight. Let me quickly go through the drivers and the constructors because this is not going well. Delando second, 20 points behind Flippy. Nameless, first time that we've got a Aston Martin reserve driver in here tonight, and that is in the form of Rocket Lee. but Nameless then is already on the back foot, and unfortunately with missing this race tonight then with only 78 points up for well, I think the Nameless could potentially be out of the championship by the end of tonight then. Jay Hings needs a good show tonight. He's been so good, hasn't he, Jay Hings has this season, so consistent. Duke, happy birthday to Duke then. Really good stuff indeed for Duke then, of course. I hope he had a good birthday indeed then, of course. I think the Duke mentioned about him wanting to be quicker, but I don't think the Duke should become any quicker, because goodness gracious me, he's going to run away with it next season, which I assume here, which I think he's got an outside chance of getting promotion, but I think it's more likely to be staying in silver. R2B, remember, start off the season with a great Grand Prix, win. Hasn't been too much to write home since so far, R2B, but still great 6th position. Kiki in 7th position on 75 points. Sorry, I dribbled there. Gordo in 8th position there, of course. Gordo in a very fine 8th position there, but from Gordo's standards, of course, the season 200% champion. Of course, we do. Gordo is usually very on the high echelons of the top 3 last season, wasn't he? Vesher in 9th position, Mayran in 10th position, Riley in 11th, which I'm surprised by that, because Riley showed some incredible turn of speed in that LP. Mr. Raging Bull, same. I thought the Mr. Raging Bull would be higher up then. Farf was flirting relegation. He's also been in the bath as well. Hope he's clean behind his ears, that Paul. But he is now 13th, and Camera Racer is 14th on 20 points, 18 for Irvine, 16 for Reflections, 9 for Tori, who is the new driver in the Red Bull team, and I gotta say, I'm so happy to see Tori in a full-time seat, because he absolutely deserves it, and great to see that. Kaidal getting 2 points a couple of weeks ago, and of course, Marsky is watching on screen now at the bottom of the championship. Red Bull leads at the moment there, but Red Bull now without Kian, so they had a very strong partnership, but sadly Kian has had technical gremlins there. The issues with the connection has been too much for Kian, and unfortunately has had to be removed from the championship, which I'm very sad to say, because I think that Kian was really going to make this an incredible 4-way for the championship, but that's not the case anymore. Aston Martin is second then, but Aston Martin, unfortunately, when they're second in the Constructors' Championship, they kind of needed both drivers, but Nameless not racing here tonight. Alpine in 3rd position, and they're 34 points away from the Red Bull team. Kick Sauber on screen at the moment. They're 158 points. They've elevated themselves right up to 4th there. Flippy has been the man of the moment to that Kick Sauber. Can Marsky get some points on his side? McLaren in 5th position on 95 points. 87 points for the RB team. Williams on 74 points in 7th position. Ferrari on them 63. 57 for Mercedes, and Haas on 18 points at this moment in time. They eat them, Sean. Oh no, I hope not. I've just realised that what I was saying earlier on. I know that. Well, no, let's not go down this road because I always get in trouble when we start talking about things we shouldn't talk about. Honestly, then. Good evening to you, Gordon. And good luck, Chicky, Soupy Fig. And then, wait, why has Kian been removed? Then Kian's been sadly Kian has had a connection issue on the stream. It didn't look bad, but sadly, there's a lot of instances there where Kian had a couple of connection issues, and because of that, caused issues. And I think that the highlight of that, well, not the highlight, the low light of that, I think was the Italian Grand Prix, or maybe in the Dutch Grand Prix. Marsky's gone fastest, but of course is the only time runner to get on the board so far then. So Marsky on 26.6. Everyone on the intermediate tyres front, I must say it's borderline intermediate, maybe even the 4 wet tyres, which, let's be honest about the wet tyres in real life and on this game is pretty shocking, to be honest. Pirelli have been in this game now since 2011. Their Flippy has gone fastest by over a second there from his teammate, or just under a second from his teammate. X-Gamer in the McLaren Mercedes, and great to see X-Gamer. Hopefully we'll see him in a full-time seat next season as well. Good stuff indeed there. Gorda goes 4 fastest in the Chicken Soupy Figgy Mobile. And then we've got Kiki in 5th. I think the Kiki has had an adventure or two. He's down in 6th position. Kaida has gone 5th faster than the Haas car. Goodness gracious me, they're flying through at the moment. Delando on a 25.2. It's an important day for Delando. He needs to stop that Kick Sauber from causing any more for winning 5 wins in a row then for Delando. But Delando has been a champion in ALR in the past. Of course, he was the bronze champion a few years ago, and it was all because of his teammate in Season 3, who was Ginger. Duke has gone up in the third then with Mr. Raging Bull. Great time in fourth position there. 12 minutes is left to go in this session. G's King getting Infinite Cable, which is, to be honest, is what I've got to be fair, but I must say, do not have my setup because my setup really hurts my back at the moment. Is it got drier or is it just me? That's interesting, isn't it? Oh, this is going to get very fine indeed. And out of the Nigel Mansell turn on the Paratada. It's not really the Paratada anymore, is it? Because it's half the quarter it used to be, literally and figuratively. Where's R2B? There is R2B. Then coming into the baseball stadium sector now then. I must admit, I actually drove this, the original race circuit, on F1 Challenge a couple of weeks ago. I did like the old one, I must say. Yellow flag out there, of course. We're going to expect a lot of yellow flags then because it is going to be very twitchy out there at this moment in time. Have I got to keep refreshing my chat? I hope not, because that really annoys me. Alpha turn then, and RTB goes 7th fastest, 6th in the championship, 7th on the road at the moment there. Vesser made an issue. Now here he is, and here's Tori then. Tori then, his first time as a Red Bull full-time driver then. He's made 5 starts this season, Tori has there, and he's had 9 points so far. And I'm very happy to say that he's a part of the Red Bull family now. Hopefully, Red Bull treats him better than what Red Bull treated their current crop of drivers. As you can see, he's already been treated very nicely indeed. There is a lovely slipstream now from his teammate there, which of course is Jay Hingsbone, currently 4th in the championship at the moment. Now, I think there's a line forming. Last one over the line might be fast up then, says Jenna. I like that, and that brings me on to one of my favourite qualifying sessions of all time in F1 history, which is the 1999 European Grand Prix. Tori unfortunately a bit too greedy on that curb there, and track invalidation unfortunately. So of course, whoa, and there's a Haas right in front of us here, and Vesser scampers off the circuit, and I'm wondering then, there's that Haas there, probably, oh dear, and the Haas is off the circuit there as well. So that's probably just going to really irk Vessier there ever so slightly, as he's had a very challenging season being Favre's teammate, of course, but someone has to do it. Sadly, Vessier got the short straw. Gordo's gone 2nd fastest. Gamer's now been the 3rd then, as Flippy is back in the pits here. I'm surprised that Flippy hasn't stayed out, you know, because of course they're probably all fat with fuel. That's my excuse anyway, but they're all got a bit of fuel on board now. They're just going to go round and round and round then. It's all about then dispersing the water back up into the sky. As goodness me, a bit of a swapperoo there on for Reflections, who's down into 8th position because the Duke has gone at 2nd faster than the RB machine. And of course, only a couple more races before we get rid of that horrible name and they become the Racing Bulls, even though technically they were the Racing Bulls, but only in Italy, according to their Instagram handle. Anyway, across the line, and Mr. Rage goes 2nd fastest there. But yes, Gina is right then. Look at that then. There is a proper dry line forming. Vessier is invalidated again by the looks of things. 9 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago in this qualifying session. Here is Jay Hings, 4th in the championship at the moment there. Suppose I'll have to sort Liam, suppose I'll have to support Liam, the fellow Derby lad then. Or is it Derby? Derby or Derby then? Of course, Liam, who's changed his name as well. Is now, is that Derby County FC then, potentially? Oh, goodness me. Well, to be honest, do I really? Of course, I think that Derby used to be the worst. Would they used to be the worst team in Premier League history in the 2007-8 season? Well, that has been Well, that has been eclipsed, if that's the right word, probably not. But of course, Southampton are the worst team in Premier League history. But having said that, as Mr. Rage Bull went into third, I think there. No, he didn't. It was RGB that went to fourth, and Kiki is now up into a second fastest there, 2/10 of a second away at the moment. However, less said about that, the better, I think, in terms of Premier League stuff at the moment, because the gulf in class between the Championship and the Premier League is far too great then. Mayran, no way it's raining again in Silver. Almost the whole session, whole season is wet then. To be honest, I know that I don't think Farf is hosting, is he? But let's be honest about it. Every time that Farf's around, there always seems to be a lot of perspiration around. Whether that is from the sky, whether that's in his bath, there's always seemed to be water when Farf's around. Look at how much spray or lack of spray, which is coming out of Vessier's rear diffuser right now. Then Vessier 37 in the first sector time. Irvine is thinking about the soft tires. Irvine has not gone out on circuit just yet. Real Ashton Army making his third Grand Prix start and Silver. Good to see Ashton having a bite of the cherry in Silver. Great to see as well. Farper currently, even though he does like a bit of the wet stuff, he doesn't want to get his hair wet as he's just had a bit of head and shoulders, I'm sure it has been applied to his yard. And the motor's still in the pit lane. Liam Darby. Oh, and Liam's off, I don't think he's off the circuit there, but he's parked there at the far end of the circuit there. That's another invalidation there, unfortunately, for Vessier. Delando's found a 10th one, just under a 10th second. Kiki in the pits there. So I'm wondering then if Kiki then has done about half the session on those intermediate tyres now. Is into the pits. And look at this, 5-6 laps. And this is incredible qualifying. Fantastic, isn't it? Goodness gracious me, it's like a racing situation out there. Oh, my word. And unfortunately, I've got this disgusting squash tonight as well, which is not gonna it's not gonna happen. Not gonna help me, unfortunately. But and I'm more annoyingly enough, I don't know, to be honest. Delando has gone fast as well. I was going to moan about something else, but no, not at the moment, no, because Delando has gone half a second quicker than the McLaren Mercedes. My word. Incredible stuff. But, haha, Leeds fans here. Yes, it's Derby County, says Serious Mushroom. Gate, laugh out loud. What's that? Hang on, I can't get that little emoji up. Derby County helped form the Football League in the 80s. Watch your tongue, Shannon. Goodness me, was you there, Serious Mushroom? Flippy's gone fastest by 0.2 of a second. Goodness gracious me. Come on, Sean, I've got a bit of decorum going on here. Goodness gracious me. But Flippy has gone fastest there, and this man cannot be stopped. Well, I say that, in qualifying, a bit like a lot of drivers, so quite a pattern, isn't it? You see a lot of drivers who are so good in the race trim that qualifying always seems to be their Achilles heel. The likes of Emerson, the likes of Sam Swift, Ninja, and Flippy as well. I say that, even though Flippy does have 3 pole positions in 10 races, and so maybe I should watch my tongue on that as well. I'm not making many friends tonight. Tori's got up to a superb 8th position, but just as I say that, his teammate has stolen the headlines and has got pole position here. But the track is drying out. As Junior said, it'll be last man across the line. Jay Hinks is not in a pole position this season. I don't think he's on a pole position in his career, I don't believe. Here comes Rocket League down the back straight in that Aston Martin machine. And here comes Liam then, who's tackling the S's as well. Good stuff indeed. That's it, I'm off, says Serious Mushroom. I'm trying to, sorry, Gina, I can't see. What is that? I can't get that emoji working. You know what, this is the problem of having an Android phone, you see. Earlier on then, I did try and, I think the ALR had posted their first short in a very long time. But I'm ashamed to admit it, I know I'm working IT and stuff, but it took me half an hour to do. Because for some reason my remix button is gone on my phone, which is so annoying. My goodness me, but 200 views for that clip of Sam Swift Ninja clinching. Oh my gosh! Liam, goodness gracious me, good job I'm not a passenger princess, because goodness me, I think I really would have put Liam off there. But Liam currently 15 fastest so far, but he's probably unhappy about me again, a bit leery there out of the Nigel Mansell turn. Here comes Farf. Farf decides to make an appearance in qualifying, which is great to see, as he's now into the S as well. Rocket League then is coming to the end of this lap then. Spy. Thank you very much. Spygate to laugh out loud then. Well, to be honest, there was 2 Spygates, wasn't there? Of course, what's his name? Bielsa was involved in Spygate, and of course McLaren were as well. Goodness me. Football and F1, eh? Not only do they start with the same letter, but there are also a lot of similarities and other things as well. There's also a lot of interesting characters in football, as there is in Formula 1. Then into the pits comes Farf. Now, of course, one of those interesting characters is Farf, isn't it? Of course, Farf, who I'm sure is an Ipswich fan, isn't it? But I haven't heard much about Ipswich this season. I don't know why that is, potentially. Sam's watched it 200 times. When Bielsa spied on the Derby team, absolutely, those were the good old days. To be fair, football for me, prime football for me was in the probably around the 2004 and beyond years for me, prime football for me, which is quite surprising from a Liverpoolian fan then. I wish I was Liverpool. Do I wish I was Liverpoolian? Probably not. But I am a Liverpool fan. Why? Because my granddad supported them, to be fair. And the first time I ever watched Liverpool was quite late, actually. I watched them when they was playing in the UEFA Cup in a very muddy pitch. I can't remember who they played, but I remember Michael Owen having a shot, and it was so muddy muddy that the ball got stuck in the goal mouth, and I was like, this is fantastic. Out of the final turn there comes Kiki, and this is fantastic as well, because that's pole position by 6/10 of a second there from Kiki. And at the moment there, he has had 2 pole positions this season for Kiki. The pole position award has basically been all but finalised in terms of gold, but silver, it's anyone's ball game. Rocket Lee found a 2nd and 1/4 on that lap, and he's gone 8 fast. It's good 17. The Duke, he's down in 13th, but I think he's been in the pit lane for the most of the session, so he's out on circuit now. Giancarlo Fisichella was in the pit lane for most of the 1998 qualifying session in Austria in his Benetton. That was, I gotta say, that was horrific conditioning, but of course there with about, I think, was it 10 minutes to go in the qualifying session? 45 minutes had gone. Everyone came out on track then, and they basically went round and round and round, didn't they? Of course, good old days of qualifying where you had 12 laps, an hour to set the best time. Of course, they used to do qualifying over 2 days, didn't they? Up until 95, or 96 actually, and then that's when they changed it to 1 hour sessions, and then they changed it again in 2003 to single shot qualifying, which I quite enjoyed, to be honest, but I don't think the F1 fans would enjoy it. To Duke, it's gone fastest by 800ths of a second with 2 minutes to go in this qualifying session. Goodness gracious me. Times are tumbling like a fruit machine. Best football match was Germany versus England, Christmas, World War One. So I'm going to be honest, Sirius Mushroom trying to gold me here, isn't he? I do remember that Sirius Mushroom was streaming that day as well, wasn't he? Soft Tires is coming up now for Vestia potentially and for Irvine. As Kaidal is in 14th position, good time for Kaidal so far. I must say Kaidal's found some pace in this Haas, and look at that, he's found more pace. He's up in 7th position now, and it's an all Haas I said. Row 4, fantastic there from Kaidal. As Reflections there, just as his teammate is popped himself up there. Reflections has had enough, and he's gone back into the garage to change his overalls to prepare for the race then. Vesher out the session as well. That's two times on the board that Vesher couldn't get the time done. Delando's on pole position so far. This will be Delando's first pole position of the season, if he can stay there. I'm shocked to see that. Liam from Derby County is unfortunately finished for the day, which is a shame then. Just stopped against orders. Humanity at its finest. Oh my word. It's kind of, to be honest, you're going to get me into a lot of trouble, you two are. Goodness me. There's not one. Oh my gosh, that's it. I'm done, you guys. You are disgraceful. I almost read that as well, Mushroom. Too wet for sauce, worth a gamble, just in case, so says Jinner. I think it's a bit too wet as well. You can see though that there is a dry line. 38 seconds to go in this qualifying session. Now, here comes Rocket Lee then. And Rocket Lee then, what has he got left in the piggy bank then? Out to the Nigel Mansell turn now then for Rocket Lee. Over the grid, Hatchet's out. Nope. Oh, that's a McLaren off. Who is that? That's Kiki. And that's his pole position over and done with. He's on row 2 at the moment. Rocket Lee is now sharing that for second row. What about Duke? He's 10th and second down. Delando's invalidated, but he has one more shot then. Let's hope he listens to JLS out of the final turn. Here we go. There's debris on the inside now. I don't think that should be cause for concern for any of the drivers out there. Gordo's back up to 9th position there. I remember saying that Gordo was I was saying that Gordo was up into 3rd or 4th. Sorry, I'll behave, so serious Mushroom. I do not believe that for 1 second there, Mushroom. To be honest, I think that I also need to behave as well. And Jenner as well. You both, all three of us are disgraceful. Out of the stadium sector, out of the Nigel Mansell turn there. Here's Camaro. He's usually quicker than the hiccup, and he is again. And he's on the front row of the grid for the Mercedes. And what about the Duke? The Duke goes second fastest out. He cannot displace Delando, who's currently on pole position there. R2B then. I can't say his name, but he's 5th at the moment. And it's an all Aston Martin. Row 3, but sadly only R2B will be eligible for points today because, of course, as Rocket Lee is sadly a reserve driver. But it's great to see him in silver, isn't it? Rocket Lee does have qualifying pace, which, and here's Flippy. We'll come back to Rocket Lee in a minute because Flippy is second there, and he's 200ths of a second away from pole position there. My goodness gracious me. Jay Hings is up in the 3rd there. He is not finished with that championship quest yet, is he? Oh, the final turn there. That's a gamer up into 7th position, but Delando, who's gone slower, is currently on pole position. position there. Gordo, fourth position in that Ferrari. I was throwing shade on Gordo, and now he has thrown shade on me. He's on to second row of the grid. Fantastic qualifying. I love that. What a qualifying indeed. But the headlines are, it is pole position, the first pole position of the season for Delando, and that is perfect there for Delando. Of course, this is a long run down to turn one, but let's not dampen Delando's spirits yet, because he's going to celebrate a fantastic pole position. First of the season there for Delando, and of course his championship rival is alongside him on row one. We is wet in qualifying, we're going to be wet in the race as well. Maybe, I don't know, to be honest. Seventh pole position of the season there for Delando. Fantastic stuff indeed. Well, that was a cracking one. Look at that, 25 hundredths of a second there separates the top two. The championship rivals as well there. A really good start. Oh, that was a fantastic race there. Fantastic qualifying. I love that. That was fantastic from beginning to end there. But of course, Delando's only had one win this season, but it's been his consistency which has been the key. Doing the key, pick up your rubbish then. It was telling me softs were 2 seconds quicker, if I was saying. Maybe, well, they're probably going to be more than 2 seconds quicker now, but I have a feeling that that is Ferrari. That is Ferrari's master plan, isn't it? Now, of course, we know about Ferrari's strategy. However, they got it really good. They got it right on yesterday, didn't it? On Sunday, which is very good stuff indeed. There, right there. It's lovely sunny. It's sunny here in Mexico City now, which is fantastic. This is the Mexico City Grand Prix. Let me just wet my whistle. I apologise about that. Very unprofessional. To be honest, I should have gone to average, shouldn't I, really? Never mind. However, this is a very good quick plug as well, of course. ALR shop is in the link in the description below. I've got my pink jumper ready. What I still need to buy a Gillette, a gilet from ALR as well, which I will get to eventually. Also, of course, you can have ALR underpants as well, which I must say are very comfortable indeed. Right, and of course, they are telling me the same thing. Must be Ferrari. It is absolutely Ferrari. Colin, never realised there was a extra D at the end of Dylan's name then. Delando! Absolutely. I rename everyone in this in this championship. Of course, I can't even say my own name, which is a pretty shocking stuff indeed. Why am I up here, you may ask? I do not know, to be fair. I'm probably up here because I'm the only guy that's available every Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays, and Wednesdays as well. But that's a different story for a different time. Having said that, I wasn't here last week, was I? Because I was still stuck on the bus, which, by the way, the road has been fixed now, so thank goodness for that. So I would not be sat on the bus there and watching all kinds of nonsense. What was I watching last week? I think I was on TikTok, to be fair, just to try and pass the time. Now I'm going to be scared to say Delando. Delando, yeah, I've been saying that all season, haven't I, Delando? Delando is on pole position for the first time of the season, for the 7th time of his career, on hard tyres. Medium tyres for Flippy. Jay Hinks is on the hard tyres. And, of course, there's a long run down into turn 1. Gordo in 4th position with the Duke in 5th position. Happy birthday the other day for Duke. Camaro in 6th position, all medium. 7th position is Key. He's got a new nose cone on that McLaren Mercedes. X-Gamer in 8th position on the hard tyres. And it's an all Aston Martin affair on row 5 with R2B and Rocket Lee splitting their strategy. Fantastic. 11th position is Mr. Rage with Kaida and Reflexes 12th and 13th, both medium. Tori and his first start for the Red Bull 14th. Marsky in 15th. Liam for Derby in 16th. Farf in the hard on 17th position. And then his teammate on medium tyres. And that's a recipe for disaster. The two Williams boys on row 9. Real Ashton and Irvine on row 20 there. Right, as we're all lined up on the grid now, preparing ourselves for the start of the Mexico City Grand Prix. There are the lights, and 5 lights are on, then there's a pause, and we are racing, and and we go down into turn one. It's a long drag down into turn one there, and of course there, and I thought someone went off already, and of course there's hard tires, and there is someone off. It's Marsky had issues in the background, and the Kick Sauber, one Kick Sauber's going for the lead, the other Kick Sauber's been left at the line. Delano leads the race, Flippy in second position, Jay Hinks and Gordo is getting all squeezy now out turn two. There's contact with the Aston Martins having half a spin, and now as we have another drag race down into 4 and 5 and 6 into the mini stadium sector, and my goodness gracious me, then of course it's the first time they're racing on a dry circuit here in Mexico. Remember this mystery Grand Prix, there's a contact with the Aston Martin, I think, of R2B and Duke. Remember there is no practice tonight because of course it is a mystery Grand Prix. Well, you might have had a bit of practice then, unless you practice all 3 circuits. That's the 2 McLarens. Goodness gracious me, Keychains down 3 position, a terrible start for the second McLaren. Gamer also down a position as well. Tori's up 7 now, he's taken off like a scalded cat. Fantastic stuff there for Tori into the stadium sector for the first time there. A lot of winners and losers in the opening sector of this race. There's a Bollard off. Tori's over to 6. What an incredible start for the Red Bull driver. Fantastic. He's up 8 positions. That one complete. Look at the gap there. It's 4/10 of a second then. No DRS yet, and DRS will be available on this lap then. And now here comes Gordo. There goes Gordo. Gets past Jay Hings. Gordo's on the championship fight this season. And of course, we've got more slipstreaming in as Camera Racer has just encouraged the Red Bull of, oh my gosh, there's a contact there. And who's that off? That's Mr. Raging Bull off the circuit. Marsky's in the pits and he's going on to the hard compound tyres. My gosh. And whoa, we've got a big break and putting into turn 4, which has only just appeared apparently, according to me. And now on board with ex-gamer with the Ollie Behrman crash helmet. Lovely stuff indeed, but not what's lovely for a gamer. He's down in 10th position behind his teammate, but the hard tyres will be a factor later on then. So Delano leads to his second position. Flippy third is Gordo. Jay Hings in 4th position, and Duke is in 5th. There's more problems there. Who's that? That's Rocket Lee off of the S's there. He's come back on now. Is there damage to the Aston Martin? Let's have a front on shot. I think the end plate's gone. It has gone. Goodness gracious me, that he's going to have to pit there, and he's on the hard tyres there. Rocket Lee is not ideal then. Out to complete lap 2 then. Out the Nigel Mansell turn then. Now this is where it's going to get very difficult for Delano to lead this to keep the race lead then. And look at this, and passes up and the times are tumbling. Vessier all over the gearbox of reflections. We're going to stick with this front running battle then as we go down into turn 1 there, and Flippy is going to take the lead. He's going for 5-time winner here in a row as well, if I can get my words out. Goodness gracious me, words eludes me tonight then, which is not ideal. Down into the second long straight on long straight on this circuit. Delano leads. Second position then is Flippy. Third position is Gordo with Jay Hings in 4th, with Duke in 5th, Tori in 6th position. 7th position is Camera Racer. R2B is down in 8th, and the 2 McLarens in 9th and 10th. Rocket Lee in the pits onto the medium compound tyres. We got Duke then, who is trying to repel then. 2 nights on the trot for Rocket then, of course. Release Rocket has got further than he did last night. I've seen his TikTok last night for Rocket. Very unlucky indeed. He was basically sandwiched. He had nowhere to go for Rocket Lee, and now unfortunately some more issues as well. Lovely shot here from the nose cone of Duke then, of course, in the RB then. I think that this season the championship battle might be slightly out. Look at that. Delano is gone here, and he has really turned up the weight then, because 20 points separates Delano and Flippy then in the battle for the championship then. And now here comes Gordo. Gordo has had a bit of a difficult season. He had a really good race a few races ago, though, didn't he? Back in, I think it was the Italian Grand Prix. Rocket Lee's got a 3-second penalty, and that is the first of many penalties, I am sure of it, as the Haas of Kaidal to 11th position. Kaidal has been absolutely reborn here, but here comes Vester, great slingshot out of turn 2 and takes 11th position away from the Haas car. But great driving there from Vester, as it's the 2 Williamses against the 2 Haas cars, and that is going to be a very interesting battle. Tori is flying out here. What a great start here for the Red Bull car. And of course, Red Bull are second in the Constructors' Championship. Tori has come into the ALR, 5th Grand Prix of the season, 6th Grand Prix of the season. Thrown in the deep end there, Tori has, because of course they are fighting in the Constructors' Championship. Is the Red Bull team now 6 points adrift of the leaders at the moment now. As Farf, who's on the hard tyres, is through past Reflections there. And Farf also making his way up nicely indeed then. Look at that then. We have got DRS then all the way down to Liam. So the top 15 have all got DRS then. Reflections has got the second man with the distinction of a penalty at the moment. They fly past me and going back down in the third one then. So hard tyre runner at the moment is Delano, who leads this race. And we've also got Jay Hinks in 4th position there. We have also got Gamer in 10th position. Reflections got back past Farfair and way before the braking zone there. Impressive stuff deep, but they're both out of DRS now because they've been squabbling. Now they're both out of DRS, and that's also hampered Irvine's progress as well. Farf, very similar to Bessier, his teammate, and now up into 13th position. There goes Farf. Farf not having a great season, to be fair. Is Farf? He's had 1 or 2 good races, but to be fair to Farf, had a Grand Prix winner in this championship, a Grand Prix winner in gold as well. Remember, Farf won 3 races on the bounce in gold in his first few races in the ALR Formula 1. Sadly, though, sadly that was his peak then, very similar to Kevin Magnussen. Obviously, Kevin Magnussen didn't win a Grand Prix, sadly, which is probably a bit of an injustice there. Farf up 1 position from Farf 1 place from a punch up there. Of course, Farf always seems to cause trouble. He attracts trouble, doesn't he? Or does trouble follow Farf? We got oh my goodness gracious me, as Tori is now up into 5th position. Camera is now up into 6th. Where's Duke there? Goodness me, and look at this then. Oh my gosh there. And then I thought the Duke was going to go onto the grass, and it says wheel to wheel. It's 3 abreast, go down to someone. Duke goes from one way to the other up the inside, and the Mercedes is still in front. Camera Racer is still in front. Goodness me, that was getting very leery. That would have been an airplane crash if they all getting the blows down the back straight. Sorry, down the start-finish straight. Tori back up into 5th position now. And now what about Duke? Duke trying to go on the outside here. Contact there between the 2 cars, but Tori is in 5th position there. And my goodness gracious me, Cameron's got a 3-second penalty as we're into the Minion Stadium sector as well. And what? Delando's lost the lead then. Rocket League's got to fast over the race, and I was wondering where Delando's gone, but Flippy has absolutely blown away all of a sudden. He's almost out of DRS range. That is incredible. I was going to say Jitter, but Kiki is off the circuit in the McLaren there. It just sums up the season for Kiki. Oh, goodness me. And I think that Kiki is going to have to pick. So I'm sure that there's some debris by his car. There is debris off the car as well. Look at that. The end plate is gone. The front end plate is gone. Flippy, my goodness me, it's just absolutely taken off and is out of DRS range. What has happened to Delando there? Whilst we was watching all kinds of car in the background, and here comes Delando, now back up into 2nd position. He's got 2nd position. He passes Gordo. And now then, as we've also got R2 beat. Oh, my word. And more contact than is Duke and R2 beat. Duking it out then, pun intended. And here comes X-Gamer. Great run out of turn 4 then, turn 3 I should say then. That's been their party trick about them, but RGB is going to go for a switcheroo and up into, no, not quite then, because here's Vessia, and Vessia never needs a second invitation, and all over the gearbox as well. My goodness gracious me, gentlemen, a bit of decorum on this Monday night, incredible stuff. And Flippy was out of DRS range, but Delano's got some pace tonight, he really has, hasn't he? Kiki in the pits, dropping right down to the back of the field. I think that the drivers that have come in the pits early on definitely needs a safety car, I feel. Then, of course, we had a safety car in the Brazilian Grand Prix. But Delano has just caught right to the back of Flippy. I wonder if Flippy absolutely rinsed then all his ERS there, his the electrical recovery system. And unfortunately, because of that, he is now going to be a sit and duck down this back straight, unfortunately. Undercut should be strong with the DRS train and fighting into turn 1, 2, and 3. And 4 just continues that laugh out loud there, Fortuna. And Delano takes takes the lead, gets past Flippy, the championship leader, down into turn 1. Farf is in the pit, so Farf has had some damage, surely, because that is not what is going to be on the Williams' strategy book, I am sure of it. James Valls is a very smart gentleman there, and I think that has not gone to plan there. Farf is surely going to be on the 2-stopper now, and that is going to be difficult. Sam Swift is in that kick Sauber, absolutely. Then, of course, Sam Swift Ninja, of course, is the first ever ALR 3-time triple world champion. 3-time and triple is the same thing, isn't it? But the first ever triple world champion in ALR history for Sam Swift Ninja, and of course he is now aiming for those records, and he's 10 away from Emerson. Is Sam Swift Ninja, and I think he's not too far away from podiums as well. And Sam Swift Ninja is yet to make his 50th Grand Prix start. He's absolutely in relentless form, isn't he? Is Sam Swift Ninja, fantastic stuff indeed. Then, however, I think the Flippy is also following the footsteps of his team member from Gold there, because Flippy, similar to Sam Swift Ninja, is jumped into ALR for Grand Prix racing and is absolutely taken off here, hasn't he? He's been superb, has Flippy, hasn't he there? And I think that he's certainly following the similar footsteps there, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what Flippy can do in Gold next season. Of course, they still mathematically he could stay in silver. Of course, the promotions are first, second, and third for silver, first, second, and third for bronze. Then 18th, 19th, and 20th from gold and silver drops down to the lower championship below them. So Flippy in gold next season really whets your appetite, doesn't it? Delando, of course, returning back to gold as well. I have a feeling that he also has some unfinished business to attend with as well. Oof, my word. Well, I must say then, this race so far has been absolutely chaotic, but, well, not chaotic, but certainly enthralling so far, hasn't it? Farf has been in the pits, and sadly Liam has got a penalty now. Farf, Kiki, Rocket Lee, and Marsky have all been in the pits so far. We've got 5 drivers then with penalties so far in this one. Lap 9 out of 36 here. When are the medium tyres going to come in the pits then? So that is what we've got to turn our attention to now. With all this battling going on, just as Gina said, and the battling out of turn 1, 2, and 3, and down into turn 4. Oh no, it's a problem for the Alpine driver. It is Liam, who is unfortunately gone into the wall for the Alpine driver, and that is unfortunate. I don't think that's caused a VSC because the pack is quite well spread out, to be fair. Love the helmet design, by the way, from Liam. Fantastic stuff indeed, but I don't think he cares about that too much. But I certainly do. Gamer trying to get past Duke then, but not the case so far. So goodness me. So back in the front then, sadly then for Liam, he's going to have to come in the pits, but love the helmet design nonetheless. No safety car because the pack is quite spread out, to be honest, isn't it? And there's a lovely gap then for the marshals to pick up the debris and put it onto the side of the race course. Liam's into the pits now for the Alpine, whilst his teammate currently leads Delano. Not Delando, which I've been saying all season, and probably all season last season, and the season before, and the season before that as well. My goodness me, and no one told me. On board with Jay Higgs, I haven't said that, I probably should have known myself, really, shouldn't I? Jay Higgs and having a sniff into the stadium sector. I've got to say, Tori's driving superbly well, though, and in this very, very, very early stage of this Grand Prix, about just under a third of the way through this one, I would say that Tori is my driver of the day so far. He has been absolutely relentless. Gordo's in trouble, and Jay Higgs is through, and what about, and I think that Tori's going to be through as well. The Red Bull team are, as good as me, and Gordo had a bad run out of the Nigel Mansell curb, or turn, and then dropped back behind Gordo. Gordo had a great run, didn't he? Down the start-finish straight, and now Tori's having a full position. Jay Higgs down into 5th as it stands at the moment now. My goodness me, the Red Bull drivers are swapping and swapping again then. I'm wondering if Tori may help his teammate here in the championship. Of course, the Jay Higgs is still involved in the championship as long as the gap is not above hang on a minute, it's not above 52 points here tonight. Yes, it's not above 52 points here tonight, then Jay Higgs will still be in the championship going into Qatar in a week's time, of course. which is also Easter as well. So that's going to get very interesting indeed. Then I kind of hope the championship goes down to the wire. I do love a good old championship crescendo, albeit there's a lot of pressure isn't on the old commentator there, but I don't think anyone cares about the commentator as long as he gets the maths right, which is a very big if, I must say, because maths is not my strongest opinion, strongest suit, but not a lot of things is. My best asset is usually the thing I'm sat on. Gordo, Pit, you have a nosebleed, says says Serious Mushroom. Gordo driving superbly well at the moment and fending off those two Red Bulls. Here comes Flippy, and Flippy again. Then I wonder if the medium tires are starting to go off now. They've done 12 laps on this race so far. Rocket Lee has got another penalty. Sadly, it's just a snowball effect around here. The more of course you try and avoid the penalties, the more penalties you get. Then I should know that I had that problem last week or the week before or whatever I last raced. And here comes Jay Hinks back up into fourth position now. As well, Jay Hinks are overshooting, and now here comes Tory. They cannot fight too much, the Red Bull team, because of course they will lose the DRS, which is crucial in the outcome of this race, surely. And look at that. Tory now needs to compose himself and needs to catch back up to Gorda. This is a major part of this race so far. Now here is Tory, and he's probably going to be used a bit of... Oh, he's almost sliding off the circuit there. Goodness me, the tyres are overheating on Tory's car. Jay Hinks on the media, hard tyres as well, which I keep forgetting about. Oh my goodness me. Camera racer currently in 6th position. Currently in 6th position on the medium tyres as well. So Tory's out of DRS range. Tory is just out of DRS. Can he make it before the DRS detection is line? No, he can't. Now then, this is going to be a problem. Then into the pits. Who's that in? I didn't see the glistening. It is Duke is in the pits. So Duke is rolling the dice to 1/3 race distance, give or take. Look at Tory. He's got no DRS and he's a sitting duck or a sitting bull down into turn 1. He hadn't even got to turn 1 yet, and Camera Racer also squeezes through and up into 5th position. Duke onto the hard tyres then should be going to the end of the race. So this is a one-stop strategy from the medium to the hard tyres, or from the hard to the medium tyres. And sadly, the early pit stoppers, I doubt they're going to get to the end there, because tyre wear around here is crucial. Tory's gone from 4th to 7th, and that is how crucial the DRS is. Can Jay Hinks out? Jay Hinks got a penalty. That is also going to be costly as well for Jay Hinks out. But of course, I'm wondering, the Red Bull are not going to be too dissatisfied about that at the moment, because we've got an awful long way to go. Jay Hinks does not need to, cannot get those penalties to snowball out of control, though. That is the crucial part there, and that is something which obviously I can't do, is that, as you said, what happened in Singapore last week. On board with Vessier. DRS said, of course, coming up to the stadium sector. There's not really much room for overtaking around here, but I do remember the two Force Indias, or Racing Points, as oh no, as what's happened, as the Real Ashton Army having issues there, but has recovered and no damage done, which is, I think, the most crucial part of this one. Gordo has come into pits then, so he has taken Mushrooms of Ice, albeit a couple of laps later. Sitting Bull, that's an Indian, coming down into turn 1 as Flippy has taken the lead, and we're down into turn 1. Flippy has taken the lead, got past Delano, and up into the lead of the Mexican City Grand Prix. Jay Hinks is second, Gamer in third. Look at that, with the pit stops now, look at the gaps, and of course these gaps are very important. The DRS is very crucial around the area. Punch it, not only do you get a slipstream, you also get a lovely bit more top end speed on your Formula 1 car. And of course that is a bit of extra speed is never a bad thing. Duke is now done the undercut and has got past Tory. He didn't get past Camaro. Whoa, Tory off the circuit there. Goodness me, I thought he was going to go into the wall. Luckily, he's able to stay out of the wall, because that would have been a safety car, surely. The two Williams drivers are just behind as well, but Farf is out of sync now. He's surely got to do another stop here. It's a shame for Farf though, because I think the Farf on the hard tyres would have been a major factor for maybe not the top echelons of the points, but certainly would have been, I think, a factor for maybe the lower end of the points there. But unfortunately, that's, unless the safety car comes into play now, which at the moment there doesn't seem to be, but of course, you know I do love a safety car, but at the moment there is no safety car. Farmer's got a 3-second penalty as well, unfortunately, for his efforts out there. So Flippy, as Archer beats in the pits, so Flippy has not felt the need to come into the pit so far. Kydal is now to a superb 5th position. Kydal also staying out as well. Gamer getting past Jay Hinks out. I'm sure that gap was about a second, wasn't it, at this stage of the circuit last time around. But Gamer there cutting into that advantage quite quickly. And now the McLaren is up into 3rd position is Gamer. A multiple Grand Prix winner in this championship is Gamer. Knows a lot about this. Knows a lot about this series as well, doesn't he, Gamer? Doesn't it? It'd be good to see him back in a full-time capacity. Sadly, because Gamer, I think, has been involved in the ALR since season 2 of Gold, I'm sure it was, in Singapore. I'm sure that, and my first memory of X Gamer, which I don't think he's going to be too fond about, is I'm sure that his fellow countryman, Laggy Racer, and him came to blows at the Singapore Grand Prix, sadly. So I don't think Gamer's going to be too impressed. That's my first memory of him. But ever since then, he has certainly had a lot of success, hasn't he? Since then, as X Gamer, great stuff indeed. Out to the Nigel Mansell turn once again. Of course, why is it the Nigel Mansell turn? Because probably one of the most incredible overtaking maneuvers in F1 history happened on the 1990 or was it 1989 Mexican Grand Prix. I do not know, to be honest. It could be one or the other then, but of course on the outside of Gerhard Berger, on the inside of Flippy, taking the lead once again. And as I've been sitting here waiting for those tyres to go off, and they certainly haven't so far. Mr. Raging Bull then recovering after an early spin is up into 5th position, but those hard tyres will not get to the end. Having said that, though, we know that how wrong I've been in the past, and I've certainly been, I certainly will be wrong in the future as well. That is definitely a fact. Are to beat now in 12th position then. Again, past Favre. Favre sadly has not got the tyres for the job. Camera Race again, no penalty. We'll look at the penalties later on in this Grand Prix. We ain't even at half distance yet, I remind you. There's still a long way to go in this one. This is a brutal old circuit, and especially with no practice either. This is, of course, a mystery race tonight. Then, of course, we have another spin the wheel. The final spin the wheel tomorrow night for bronze. I hope it is not Las Vegas. I hope it is not Mexico. And to be fair, I kind of hope it's not Brazil either, but unfortunately, it's going to be one of those 3 tracks, so I think they will have to go for Brazil. Well, we just hope for the best. Penn's racking up now, says Serious Mushroom, and of course, we'll take a look at those penalties at a later part of this race. And actually, let's take a look at them now. It's Duke has gone fast. It's 3-second penalties for Hings, for Mr. Raging Bull, for Camaro, 6 seconds for Camaro, 3 for Favre, 6 for Reflections, 3 for Marsky, for Ashton, 6 for Rocket Lee, and 9 for Liam. Then Rocket Lee has got another penalty, unfortunately, just as we were talking about that. Out of the final turn, Kyle comes into the pits just before the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. Down the start finish straight then, and look at Tory then struggling to keep up then, because Duke has actually gone from attack to from defence to attack then, and through he goes into 7th position there. And I hope it's not my, and you hope it's not my setup then. It better not be your setup that causes me issues tomorrow, Serious Russian, because I'll be a very unhappy chappy. I'll be shaking my fist for, well, I would be, to be honest. Sadly, I'm not commentating on Gold on a Sunday, because I am actually, I'm actually dressed up as a rabbit for Easter. Into the pits comes Real Ashton, after 60 laps on the medium tyres. Of course, to remember that on Sunday, the Gold race will be at 8 o'clock then, UK time, with Saudi Arabia starting at 5 or 6 o'clock then. Shameful behaviour. How dare Formula 1 schedules an F1 race before, just before ALR, so we have to put our race back. Shameful. But of course, Gold will be starting about half an hour, 45 minutes later than normal, so it'll be 8 o'clock there for Gold then. The Silver will be the same time then as well next week, of course, in Qatar. It's a tough old circuit. Qatar is out. Talk about penalties here. Qatar, I'm expecting a lot more penalties next week then. Here comes the Duke then, pitting a lap earlier, and it's really started to help Duke now, because Duke, who was kind of lost in the shuffle earlier on this race, is now up into 6th position. And what about that Mercedes diving down the inside? Gordo cannot defend that, and the Red Bull of Tory trying to get through as well, but Gordo repels Tory. Tory's on a great race so far. What an inspired drive from Tory, making his full-time debut for the Red Bull team, and now up into 8th position there. But Gordo's not going to relinquish this then, but well, he is going to relinquish that, unfortunately. Which is a shame then. I hope the police know, says Serious Mushroom. I am the police, Serious Mushroom. What do you mean? Whoop, that's the sound of the police. Oh, I can't go that high, sadly. Well, I could, but not at the moment. So we've still got an awful lot of racing to do. Once again, Flippy, who is extending this stint. Do you reckon Flippy's going to go? No, surely he can't go to soft tyres, can he? But he's now going to do more laps on the hard tyres than the medium. Flippy is driving superbly well out there. Once again, Flippy is keeping up with Delando. And not only that, he's on the medium medium tyre, which I thought would be well past their best a couple of laps ago. Maybe you've underestimated this medium tyre, but remember that Delando will be going on to the medium tyre later on in this race, well, in a couple of laps in this race, and I wonder if that is why Flippy is a bit concerned then, and it's not coming just yet then. Camaro is now up into 5th position. Delando has lost the lead because Flippy is back past here. These are the two championship rivals now fighting, and Delando was having a sniff, but nothing more than that out of turn 6. And now Camera Racer is now to 6th position there. Next target is actually his teammate Mr. Raging Bull, who's done 18 laps on those hard tyres, along with Hings, Gamer and Delando up in front. Then is, of course, these drivers there all pitted earlier on then. Who's the de facto leader out there? It's actually Camera Racer is the de facto leader out there. But of course, the tyre. The tyre offset is going to be very interesting later on in this one. Of course, all about tyres, isn't it? Of course, you probably tire here about tyres, but it is a very interesting situation. Flippy has finally relinquished and come into the pit lane now. Goodness me, he has been the tyre tickler today. Fantastic stuff indeed there. Camera in a good place here. Staying out then will make things worse for the top guys. Absolutely, and that is what is happening to Flippy. Look where Flippy's going to come out now. So Flippy, though, will have a very nice set of fresh hard tyres, but I feel that he might have stayed out too long potentially. He's got an awful lot of work to do on those hard tyres. Camera Racer is go. No, he isn't then. I thought he was going to go past the Duke, but now the Duke is the leading of this gaggle of cars who's already pitted. Where's Flippy, I hear, Austin? He's come out in 10th position. There is Flippy. Vessier is out just in front of us, and so Flippy has a 6-lap offset of those hard tyres, and he should put his toe down now. Is the championship leader going for 5 wins on the bounce, and unheard of in Grand Prix racing, isn't it? So close in terms of the grid, up and down in gold, silver or bronze, but that is exactly what Flippy has done. Then he's come into silver. He's made an absolute splash, has Flippy, and since then he's been absolutely relentless. On board camera, then we've just got Duke in front of us. While camera there, you've seen him pushing the DRS button there on the steering wheel. The rear wing opens and dumps a lot of the drag then, but of course that DRS head is not the major overtaking opportunity. The major overtaking opportunity will be going down into turn 1 there, as Marsky and Reflections are fighting tooth and nail here between 16th and 17th. Potentially both drivers could be seen going into bronze next season. Both drivers have had a bit of a difficult season. Camera Racer is now in 4th position there. Where is Flippy? Flippy's got past Vessier, and he's also passed Delando by 1.5 seconds. That is the power of the undercut around here. And but Delando does have a tyre advantage now. He's on the supposed quicker tyre in this one. But I think that Flippy and Delando might catch up to this gaggle of cars, because they have been fighting tooth and nail since coming out of the pit lane. Absolutely great entertainment. But I must say that, of course, in terms of the Reflection of Marsky swap positions again there, Marsky is having a right to go on those 20-lap old hard tyres. Great stuff indeed for Marsky. However, unfortunately, I think that Marsky, alike with a few others that had to pit earlier on, really hoping for a safety car, and that's not coming to be the case so far. Here's the Duke, who's now going on the inside then, and are you saying that I was an overtaking opportunity? How wrong was I? On the outside into the stadium sector, beautifully done, and Duke is back into the leader of this gaggle of cars. They are now only 1.5 seconds behind Mr. Raging Bull, who's been on those tyres since the start. Into the pits comes Jay Hings. There's a McLaren off, and that is Kiki having issues. They're trying to recover after an earlier off there. Flippy is at the fast stop of the race. Kiki has got no damage there, as Camera Racer back in front then. And we've also got Tori through. And what about Gordo as well? Gordo's through as well. Gordo's going to steam down the inside, and is he going to go for it? He's having a look now. I was looking at the wrong car. Shame on me. And the yellow flag said, what's happened there? There's yellow flags. I think it's one of the lap cars. Liam getting out of the way. Very good stuff indeed there for Liam. Of course, you do ghost when you do get laps, but of course, what am I saying? Marsky and Reflections are swapping positions once again. Great battle down there in 16th and 17th position. But of course, even if you are a ghost, it's still a distraction, isn't it? When you've got a lap car in front of you, and of course you cannot see the racing line ever so well, even though they are a ghost. Then. Tori, what a drive. He's the highest driver that doesn't have a penalty either. So that is going to be crucial. And can Tori get on the podium on his first race for Red Bull? Goodness gracious me, this man is having an absolute revelation of a race here tonight. Gamer stays out again then. I wonder if Gamer's goal hanging there for a safety car. Into the pits, there comes the Mercedes, has Mr. Razor Ball finally into the pits. And now Tori is gapped at Gordo, but he's still about still under a second there, so he still gets DRS, as does Duke, and as does Flippy, who is just very slightly got up to the back of this Crocodile of cars. Delando has made his way up to the 7th position. There is Delando getting past the Williams driver, and also I think Farf, who's it's Jay Hings, they just got past a driver as well. I believe I wasn't really paying attention. Dylan will have medium study advantage to him now. Marsky, that's made me want a yogurt, says a serious mushroom. Maybe a Muller. What's it? It's a straw. I used to love the strawberry Mullers, to be honest. I wasn't really a fan of the older chocolate Mullers, but mainly because the chocolate round balls reminded me of something that you normally see in a field, rabbits droppings. To be honest, I hope no one's actually eaten that yogurt at the moment. I fancy yogurt as well, actually. I might. I can't bother to go outside though. I might have to message my nephew and see if he'll pop to Tesco's for me. Every little helps and all that. Gamer currently 6.5 seconds in front then. And then we've got all kinds of anarchy here then. And here comes Flippy then. Look at that then. About not 6 laps younger tires there. Duke is not going to be able to defend this surely then, but they're both going to have DRS then, but it's all about the traction there, and you see that Flippy inching through past another new 5th position, and of course a win today for Flippy will take him out. With Flippy winning, and it's Duke almost spinning there with Flippy winning and Delando finishing second, which might happen there. That is not a nailed on finishing position. Well, then there's still a long way to go in this race there. We've got 12 laps in this Grand Prix. Incredible, incredibly a brutal race indeed. They're talking of brutal. We got Farfin Kaidao, who is kicking several shades of silver out of each other. I don't think that's the right... look at this, Farf almost off the circuit there on 16 lap out hard tires. Farf's done a great job actually to keep himself in there. See, I think it's but Farf never penalty. I think there's a lot of frustration for the Williams driver this season. Farf, I don't think that Farf's had the rub of the green. I'm not sure if it's the car or whatnot. It's not suited. I don't think the game as a whole is suited Farf, to be honest, because remember in 2023 Farf finished in the top 5 of silver. I think he actually finished third, didn't he, to be honest? He should have been in silver. Should have been in gold, shouldn't he? Out of the final turn then, Gamer is still leading. I think the Gamer has not pitted there. He has not pitted. He's the only driver yet to pit then. Camero is back into second position there with Tori in third. Here's Gordo. What about Flippy? Flippy at the moment has got a bit of work to do with just 12 laps to go in this race. If he wants to win his 5th race on the trot. And also, not only does he have to get past, he also navigate this circuit without getting any penalties either. Muller through corner, absolutely. Flippy diving up the inside, passes Gordo, and up in the 4th position there. Of course, you can't do that with many drivers, but certainly Gordo is the most experienced driver in silver history. And of course, not only that, then Gordo is a very sensible driver indeed. Then, and I think I need to learn a thing or two from Gordo as well, because that is something which I am not. Which is sensible. Who's in the drop zone? So currently it's Tori, who's only got 9 points there, but at the moment he's driving superbly well. Kaidal on 2 points and Marsky on 1 point. Reflections is 7 points away from the drop zone at the moment, and then we've got Irvine, who's 9 points away from the drop zone. So those are the drivers that could potentially be racing with you and I in bronze next season. Mushroom into the pits. Finally comes Gamer. So Gamer finally in the pits, and now Flippy is just picking them off one at a time. Where's Delando? Soft tyres for Gamer. That's interesting. As Duke is also got past Gordo. Oh, contact! And Flippy's been involved as well. There's contact between Tori and Camero and Flippy. Lucky, that was very good. That was very good racing actually, because Flippy, I don't think went into the side of the Red Bull very hard then, and luckily no wing damage there. But that frac car has now dropped Tori out of the DRS zone at the moment. Oh goodness me. That's what we mean. And look at that then, is Delando, who of course has been bronze champion and has been silver runner-up, I think, once or twice now in his career. This would be, I think, the second or third time. I can't remember the exact numbers. I should really get them up on screen, but I'm too enthralled in this at the moment. But Delano, runner-up in Silver already, hasn't he? But so close. I'm sure he's third in Silver. Now he's been second, actually. And he'll be second again then for Delano, which is such a shame, because I feel that Delano has been quite relentless. And not worried about Marsky, he's easy work, says Cirrus Mushroom. Goodness me. And now here comes Tori, who's trying to get back past Camera Racer. Then Camera Racer currently got a penalty, but Tori is in prime. Of course, he's in the relegation zone well as Tori. However, he's only had 5 races. And what's happened? There's an issue with Kaidal and a Farf in the pits as well. But Kaidal, that's Irvine. Kaidal then has got damage on that Haas car. Flippy has got past Tori whilst we was watching semi-finals. And now Flippy is 1 position away from the win of the Mexico City Grand Prix, but there is still, I keep saying it, there are still many laps to do around here. They still got to navigate this circuit without any penalties, with Delando on the medium tires, but Delando is not coming through the field so far. He's got past Gordon, but now he's still got to get past the Duke, he's still got to get past Tori and Camaro as well. But, oh, who's that? That's Camaro off the circuit there, and off goes Camaro, and that's the lead gone, and Flippy takes the lead, but just I say that, Tori is back through, but Tori has a 3-second penalty. Goodness gracious me. Lap 27, that's on the highlight reel. Surely incredible. All of a sudden, it is absolutely turned on its head. Tori has no DRS set, so Flippy should just be able to breeze past here. He hasn't got DRS yet. Now he's got DRS, and he's already alongside, and he's going to get that position. But look there, I think the Tori has broken out the DRS of Duke. No, he hasn't. Duke still has DRS, and there's Delando. Now I've been in third position as well. This race is not over yet, then, ladies and gentlemen. There. Also, R2B has got past best here. We've got to stick with this one, because it's going to get very hot under the collar, I think, before the end of this one. Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, I've got to sit down a minute, because my word, my knees are absolutely knackered. Gamer is having 2 9th finish there. Jay Hinks down to 10th, sadly, for Jay Hinks there. Not really, it hasn't really gone too well for Jay Hinks in this second part of the race, has it? He's all over the back of Gamer, but Gamer is on the soft tires, as is Farf, and Farf is the only other driver that's gone on softs there. I gotta say, I'm not sure if I'm not sure if those soft tires are going to get to the end, you know. Serious Motion Dylan's got a push now, and he is pushing, isn't he? But he's already out of DRS range. Tori's already out of DRS range, isn't he? So Dylan has got to really put his toe down. As Murray Walker used to say on F1 97, pedal to the metal, flat out then. But I must say, Delando then is starting to fight an uphill battle here. Then Flippy has also set the fast up race to have an exclamation mark, and this one then. Strike whilst the cheese is warm, and I do love melted cheese. Through goes Delano and up into second position, and now he's got the tyres. Has he got the pacer to get after Flippy? That is my question. And the battle, and Tori on his Red Bull debut. He's going to be out the drop zone quite early on. But what a debut for Tori. Tori, I'm wondering then, of course, a lot like reserve drivers, they probably don't put their all into it when they, of course, when they're reserving. But however, having said that, then Tori has driven a superb race though in this one. I'd say it's been fantastic. He's sadly got a penalty in the later stage of this Grand Prix, but even so, what a performance. But sadly, that penalty is going to cost him a podium run, because Duke and Gordo, this is a brilliant race today. This is probably Gordo's second strongest race of his season after the Italian Grand Prix a few weeks ago. But I think the Gordo would be 4th at this moment in time. Look at the dirt there off that front wing there, as of course it has got a pretty hairy down into turn 1. It's a lovely shot here from the nose cone of Duke there, as out of the far turn then, and Delando has had a bit of a there's not a bit of a issue on that second sector. I wonder if there's a bit of thermal deck going on now on those Pirelli tyres. And look at this, Tori then. I was saying that maybe that was job done, but absolutely not. And Tori retakes second position here and gets back past the Red Bull, gets back past and up into second position. R2B back down into 8th position. Vesha on a strong race as well. Vesha could be in for driver of the day here. What's that? Who's that? Off the circuit. I said, that's how it's hot. It's the, I thought that was Duke, but we was riding on board of him, so maybe it wasn't Duke, was it? As yellow flags out, and on the outside goes Delano again, then using those fresh medium tires and back up into second position. As it stands though, Flippy will have over a Grand Prix win then under his belt then in the final two races, and he cannot win the championship here today, but my goodness me, he's in prime position to win it in Qatar in a week's time. And my word then, and what a way to win it as well there for Flippy. He's coming 4 wins on the bounce. He could be on course for his 5th Grand Prix win. He has been relentless, potentially could have been 6 wins without that penalty in Silverstone a few races ago, but after blocking, I can't think it was one of the McLarens, or was it Kiki? Out of the final turn, then out of the Nigel turn. Here comes Tori again. Tori's been certainly gamed on here tonight, hasn't he? Fantastic. But here comes Tori again. Then Tori also be my driver today as well, actually. But and look at this, and he's doing a bit of drafting there, going down into turn 1. Is Tori fantastic stuff indeed. Then there are the position changes. Then Tori up 11 positions, Vessi up 11 positions, while Irvine up 8 positions. But of course, I've also got to factor in the penalties. And here comes Duke down, and now Duke is up in 3rd position. But Tori is not going to allow that. Then there's a bit of a spin in there. Was Tori, well, Duke, I should say. My goodness me. Without DRS, Dylan is stuffed then. He absolutely is stuffed, sadly, isn't he? Which is such a shame then, isn't it? DRS has been such a powerful tool. Flippy broke that DRS almost instantly there. Very similar to Sebastian Vettel, really, hasn't it? Of course, we spoke about that with Sam Swift Ninja last night as well. Driver of the day votes out. We got Gordo, we got Tori, we got Flippy, and we got Duke then. That's a tough driver of the day. Poll, isn't it? I must say I would have voted for all 4 of them, to be honest, but sadly I'm not allowed to do that then, even as a honorary admin then, even though I'm only admin by name but not by nature then. Just ask any of those 3. Ask any of the other 3 admins there. I don't think coming out of the DRS that goes Tori back up in his 2nd position. So at this moment then, Delando knows that he can finish behind Tori and get 2nd position, but the former bronze champion is not going to be too pleased to do that, because with Duke and Gordo hot on the heels, I think there's you see Archie beat up into 7th position, but with Duke and Gordo hot on the heels of the former bronze champion, I think that is a dangerous strategy to play, isn't it? Especially around here, especially with that power and that DRS set. They're the penalty situation as well, just four laps to go. So Gordo 50%, Tori 50% as well. Flippy and Duke have got no penalties at the moment. Not penalties, well, they haven't got no penalties. They've got no votes either in the drive of the day, but I think it's probably because we are so used to those 2 drivers being so strong now, aren't we, in a Grand Prix race. Great drive from Tori, though, today. This is Tori's best result of his career by far, because I think that Tori's best result up until tonight was actually, if I can find him on the old spreadsheet, was actually 6th position there in his, and this is 10th Grand Prix start as well tonight for Tori, and what a drive it's been there. Of course, his 10th Grand Prix start in his career of silver, but this is his 1st Grand Prix as a full-time race driver, which is really good to see. I went for chicken soupy thingy for drive of the day. So at the moment then, as we of course get your votes in now for drive of the day, it's going to get us when the Haas cars has dropped right off there. That is Reflections there, down in 14th position. Unfortunately, Kiki has got no penalty there. Hats off to Kiki, but sadly, Kiki's had 2 trips at the chicanes of the S's. It has just not been Kiki's day, has it? 3 laps to go in this very enthralling Mexico City Grand Prix. Of course, this is the last of the mystery Grand Prix. Sorry, it has been it's the last of the Mystery Grand Prix for silver, and of course our last spin of the wheel is tomorrow night as well. For season 13 of ALR, I think that we will be. I don't think that there's any announcements yet that's going on, but of course the stewards will be talking about the stewards, and of course all the head honchos in ALR will be talking about the calendar for next season, everything like that. But I'm sure that it'll probably be going back up to a regular calendar, probably about 20-22 odd races then, but of course the calendar will be out next season, of course. But also with the reverse tracks as well, could they be on the calendar next season? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? But I don't think there's any mystery Grand Prix yet next season. Potentially! And Duke is stuck, as, believe it or not, it's so wide going down there. But Duke is very, it narrows there, doesn't it? And Delano back up into second position, Duke into third, and Tori into fourth position. Bob's got another penalty, Besser up into seventh position. And his camera racer has got a 6-second penalty. Now here comes Gordo. Tori's in trouble. Has Tori got issues? Has he run out of tyres there? Or is Tori there just trying to harvest his battery? Because Gordo now in the fourth position. And Tori also knows that as long as he's 3 seconds in front of Vessier behind, oh no, there's contact! And unfortunately, I was just saying, as long as he's 3 seconds in front of Vessier at R2B, he should not drop any more positions. But that is going to be painful, because now they've dropped out of DRS range, Tori and Gordo has, and that has allowed Duke and Delano to have a fight to the checkered flag here. And this is not ideal at all, because this potentially could be another 3 points being lost for Delano's challenge in the championship. But let's see how this one transpires. Marsky has more pens than a stationery shop, says Terrence Bishop. I hope I might have to borrow one of those pens there. Yellow flag is one of the Haas cars is coming cropper down at the bottom of the circuit there. As on board now with Duke then on the second to last lap then. And here comes the Duke then on the outside. Duke takes second position, passes Delano up into second position. And look at Tori. Tori, who I was saying then it was all doom and gloom about a couple of laps ago. A couple of quarters ago. Well, he's back in it to win it. Well, not in to win it then, but Gordo's got back past Tori and back up into fifth position. And this is a frightfully hot battle, isn't it? Towards the end of this one there. Fantastic stuff indeed then. Wow, my goodness gracious me. Oh gosh, I fell off my poof. I'm okay. Oh my word. No, I'm not. I think I broke my coccyx. Flippy leads. 5.5 seconds there from Duke in second position. Delando is struggling out there now. And one of those medium tyres are now starting to really struggle. Tori then, at the moment, will finish behind the top 4. Kiki has set the fast of the race then to get that point, and Kiki is also fighting as reflections of the pits. I was wondering what was going on there. I couldn't see him. As also Marsky and Kiki are also locking horns as well. Marsky down in 50th position there. Hats off to Marsky, by the way. Of course, a man who's challenging for wins and podiums all last season. And this season has not been much to write home about. But hats off to Marsky for sticking with it. A lot of drivers, me, would have probably called it a day by now. But I think the Marsky there really showing the respect of really showing that he's got some metal, hasn't he? And something which I certainly don't have is metal. Ooh, bit of a ugly downshift there from Duke on the back straight. Not sure if you heard that on the feed then, but my goodness me, that didn't sound too good at all, did it? It's the first I actually heard any downshift at all, probably because I wasn't actually talking for once. Goodness me, I should give my rear end a chance, really, shouldn't I? Goodness me. As Vessier there coming out of the stadium sector there. We're on the final lap then, whilst I've been waffling away. Goodness gracious me. And here comes Flippy, and my goodness me, it is going to be 5 of the best for Flippy. He's won 5 Grand Prix in a row now, and Flippy extends his leads in the championship. And my goodness gracious me, Flippy has now got over a Grand Prix win under his belt. Then Flippy wins the Mexican City Grand Prix, and his 5th win in a row, his 5th win of his career as well. Goodness gracious me, I think that's the first driver in ALR history, apart from Eat the Cookie potentially, that is coming to a Grand Prix racing and has won his first 5 races in a row. Flippy is in dominant form now in silver, and he is in prime position to win the championship in a week's time in Qatar. What a performance, with Delando finishing second, with Duke in third position. Wow, that was pretty phenomenal stuff indeed for Flippy, and my word, that how he stayed on those medium tyres for 18 odd laps is incredible stuff there. Because I think that Delando's tyres were starting to struggle towards that as well. That is incredible for Flippy. 5 wins in a row. My goodness gracious me. That first position is going to be reserved for Flippy, isn't it? Goodness gracious me. And I gotta say, I think that, of course, is it a matter of if rather than when now in terms of when Flippy's going to win the championship? Potentially, but of course, F1, the championship F1 race is not one on paper, is it? Of course, you have to still perform at the circuit. And my word, Flippy is certainly performing at the moment. What an incredible result for Flippy. 5 wins in a row. First driver, I'm sure first driver since Eat the Cookie has won 5 wins in his opening 5 races as a Grand Prix racer. Magnificent stuff indeed. Then, absolutely. Absolutely incredible stuff, Fed. Indeed, there for Flippy. Then we're going to take a final look at the classification. Then I think then we're going to roll on with the interviews. Hopefully, it won't be as long as last night. Goodness gracious me, because I got to say, I got a bedtime to think about. Then being old these days, ladies and gentlemen, I've certainly I certainly got to think about me beauty sleep. Then, and Flippy lofts the trophy. Then, as I said, that P1 seems to be reserved at the moment for Flippy. 5 wins in a row for Flippy. Then and extends in the championship. He's now over a Grand Prix win in front of Delando, who is second now. Flippy is in prime position to win the championship in Qatar, but of course, anything can happen in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does. Duke in third position, great battling drive. Then Gordo in fourth. Then Tori on his debut for Red Bull in fifth. Fantastic. With R2B in sixth. With Vestier in seventh. The two Mercedes eighth and ninth. And Jay Hinks in 10th position. Might be disappointed by that. Get X Gamer down in 11th position. Then Irvine from 20th to 12th. Kai Dahl in 13th. 14th is Kiki. Reflections getting a fast lap point. Trying to stay out of that relegation zone. And then Rocket Lee in 17th. Marsky, Real Ashton, and Liam all finished the race. And no retirements in this Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff indeed there. Magnificent. Very clean as a whistle. Draw of the day as is still happening then. It's Tori then with 33%, with Gordo with 33% as well. I'll keep an eye on that because last night's draw of the day winner was actually Boxstar, which I failed to read out, which is shocking stuff indeed then. So we got a driver in the comms box now. Let's hope that this all this shenanigan works. Fantastic stuff indeed there. I'm getting good at this old malark, ain't I? Fantastic. Right then, there's Flippy. I gotta say, copy and paste said it seems to be the order of the day. Then 5th win in a row, and potentially you are now over a Grand Prix win in front of the rest of the opposition and Delando himself. Then, so. Can you take it easy now and potentially you're in prime position to win in Qatar? So can you put your feet up now?
Nah, I just have to keep pushing, obviously, with the rest of the field being so tight like that. But today was a great win. I personally feel like this is the strongest win of the season so far because I managed to stay out long on the mediums and just manage the tires on the first stint and then do basically what I call Yano me, go along on the first stint and just attack the tires on the second stint and just push like hell.
I was going to ask you about those that first stint then because a lot of the medium runners came in quite early, and the first thing that me and Mushroom was debating about in the old comment section was the potential you getting back through the traffic then, but you made it look so easy then. And but firstly, how did you do it? You used the tire whisperer today.
I just because in this game, if you stay behind someone in a DRS train, you just basically have so much less tire wear. And I saw the liner in front with really good pace, so I just decided to just stay behind and be less aggressive in the corners, turn in more smoothly, and basically turn with the throttle if that makes sense, and the brakes. But yeah, just trying to stay make the tires alive to the end of the first stint and then just push like crazy on the second stint. But yeah, Mexico in general is the overtaking track, so yeah, I knew it would come back to me the race.
Very good indeed then, and I must say once you got through the top of the crocodile, then you absolutely broke the DRS. There's a bit of a hairy moment there into turn one. I can't remember if it was with Tori or with Duke going down into turn one. Was you a bit concerned by that because I thought that you broke your wing at first, but it was only a gentle tap.
Yeah, I think it was a Red Bull, so it was Torre, I think. I tried to go for overtake, but then I think he burned battery as well, and then he just misjudged his braking point, just ran to the back of the leader at that point. I think it was a Merc, and I saw his car sideways, and I thought I had to avoid that, and then I just kind of just tried everything I could, and got lucky that I didn't get any damage from that, but there was contact. Yeah, I got really lucky.
You'd rather be lucky than good, as Murray Walker used to say. And my word, then, and now let's think about Qatar if you can. Goodness me, I'm already going to Qatar. You can win the championship in Qatar. You've absolutely come in here. You've stormed to 5 wins in a row. You've stormed to the top of the league in the championship. You're unstoppable at the moment. Surely it's an easy win in Qatar, isn't it?
Not really. As I mentioned, the package really tight. One mistake can just lead to your whole race being over. But Qatar in general is again like today. It's a tie saving track. If you can get those tires like alive at the towards the end of the race, it will be like really beneficial. So I'll probably try a similar strategy that I just go along with the first stint and just attack the track on the second stint.
And are you going to do anything different? Well, I would say probably not, then, because you've been incredible in the last five races. But well, knowing that the championship could be wrapped up in Qatar next week, are you going to do anything different to your approach? Are you going to be nervous at all?
Nervous wise, kind of, yeah, because at the end of the day, I can feel myself more nervous than other races than usual, but I'm just trying to deal with the nerves. But yeah, approach wise to the race, I would just keep it the same, keep it consistent, and just trying to close out the championship with a win.
Goodness me, if you're nervous today, good gosh, I hate to see you when you're relaxed. Fantastic stuff indeed. Brilliant job today, Flippy. 5 wins on the bounce as well. That's mega stuff indeed. Great job indeed on your fifth win here in Mexico City. Delano, I've been calling you Delando for most of my career as a commentator, and I think your colleague came into the comments and actually pointed out to me that's shameful behaviour. But on a serious note today, you've got a fantastic pole position, absolutely mega stuff indeed. But in the very challenging qualifying conditions there. How could talk us about that qualifying if you can, because I love qualifying sessions like that. But you drivers probably hate it.
What do you call it? It pretty much the wet Mexico to start off is like I wish this transformed into the race like what you call it to good effect, but what you call it, it is what it is to be fair. But I it's pretty much nailed on like what you call it. But this second lap is on my final lap. Gamer was ahead of me to be fair to him. He was on a lap, push lap as well, so it can't nothing I can do about it, but still, set out for pole was pretty much happy out, to be fair.
And then coming on to the race as well, I must say the championship looks a bit bleak now. But you're always in it to win it, going into Qatar. How are you feeling about the championship at the moment?
Um, it's tricky one to say because like I was hoping like a mistake from the leader, to be fair, but it's like Flippy is pretty much ever consistent in fairness to him, so it kind of like so it's kind of like nothing I can do at the same time, like with his form at the moment.
Are you thinking about maybe a little Schumacher-esque kind of kind of nudge into him, like in Jerez in Europe at all? Are you thinking about that to stop him going into Qatar?
Um, not, don't think so because like I would like to, but it's like no, probably not. What you call it? Try to keep it fair, to be quite frankly. So yeah, it's like hopefully it's like one of those that like kind of like try to keep it consistent. Fair.
I'm being very naughty there, aren't I? I'm not sure if you cut out there, Delano, but also as well, then talk about the race today. With Flippy extending his advantage in that first stint now, I was absolutely amazed by him being on the medium tires for 18, 19 laps. Then, was you concerned by that before you come in the pits? Then, and of course, you only pitted a lap after him. And was you confident about getting through the traffic and potentially challenging Flippy in the final couple of laps in this race?
It's kind of like a tricky. It's kind of like open to interpretation, to be quite frankly. Like in terms of pitting, I think it was the right time to pit because I would be behind R2B, meaning that what you call it would be hard to get through the traffic. Like if I wanted to, I was thinking about extending it to lap 22 and so forth, but it's like nah, I had to cut my losses on that one. Try what do you call it? Get I get ahead of R2B, to be fair. try less work on me, but it's like once I get far as Flippy, it's like he's literally gone, long gone.
And did you think potentially you might have been able to swap the strategy, maybe go on medium to hard? Do you think that would have changed the outcome of the race today, or was Flippy too strong today?
I think he's too strong today, to be quite frankly. I literally said, I've, that's why I gone hard to medium because of I knew the medium can't fire as like first stint for myself is like 14 laps. I won't be that confident to go far as 18 laps or 19s on the medium, so that's why I had for to be quite frankly. So that's probably I think Flippy is far too strong on this one today.
Hopefully the tables turn from an entertainment point of view. Anyway, a brilliant job today, Delando with Delando, I should say, in a second position. Fantastic stuff indeed. Uh, and then let's come to Duke, who finished third today. And goodness me, you had an absolute barnstorming battle with yourself, Tori Gordo, and I think the two Mercedes as well. Goodness gracious me, that was certainly hotting up over the course of the race. How difficult was it to determine how to defend going down that long back straight?
Uh, I think this was probably one of the most difficult races I've driven because I basically had no straight line speed. So, so every time I got onto the back straight, I had to burn a lot of battery to keep up with the cars ahead and also different from the guys behind. But in the first stint, I lost a couple of positions, which I was trying to regain back as well. And then I decided to go the undercuts. But then as soon as I pitted, my wheel stopped working. So I had to disconnect the wheel, then reconnect the wheel again. And by the time I did all of that, I think I lost like maybe 2 seconds thereabout because everybody was ahead of me. When they boxed, they were still ahead of me. So it was kind of difficult. So I kept on waiting for someone to make a mistake because I had no straight line speed to pass, which was what I did. And I had, I think, two warnings from Lapon. So I don't know how I managed to drive the remaining laps of the race without a single warning, despite all the battles I had.
Goodness gracious me. Two warnings on the opening lap and then nothing for the rest of the race. That's fantastic. You've got to teach me. But those 2 seconds that you lost then, do you feel that if you was able to not lose those 2 seconds and break the DRS, you might have been able to make it maybe a showdown between yourself and Flippy? Or same question I asked Ananda, or was just Flippy just kind of in a different zone today for yourself?
Um, I don't think I would have caught up to Sleepy. I would still be ahead, but I think I would still be ahead. But I think the cars that were ahead of me at that point wouldn't be because I think when he was right behind, I think I had like two cars ahead of me. I would have probably broken the RS to them. Probably. I can't really tell because I had zero practice for this race.
Which is a very good point actually, because of course then this is one of the mystery Grand Prix. We finished the mystery Grand Prix now. We've got Qatar and Abu Dhabi to finish off the season. How are you feeling then for the remainder of the season? I've kind of wrote you off in terms of maybe getting promotion or getting involved in the championship fight. Then, do you think I'm wrong on that front?
Right now I'm basically taking it one race at a time. I don't even know what position I'm in the championship. That's how much I'm not really bothered. But then next season, I should not next season. It wouldn't be one race at a time. I think next season I probably have to find more pace and then much more consistency as well. But for the next race and then the final, which is Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi is probably maybe one of my worst tracks. But I think Qatar is one of my strongest. So I just have to perform in Qatar and then see how Abu Dhabi goes.
I don't think you should find any more pace. Goodness gracious me, because maybe you will be too quick for next season. I've put you as a early season favourite for next season. It depends on how the end of the season goes. Do you maybe that's probably a bit too much pressure on yourself, especially with the new game coming in. I have asked Sam Swift Ninja about this, but with the next season's game coming certainly coming into the forefront of a lot of drivers' mindset, do you feel that next season could be your season to be crowned silver champion for season 10?
Um, I don't think I'm going to get ahead of myself would probably take it and then see how it goes. But for every game, I think since F1 22, I've always taken a step forward. So I should see how next season goes, but I'm looking forward to it. Probably the aim is to win more races. I think I've only won just a single race this season. I want to win more races next season, and then I think that should probably put me in a championship fight.
Thank you very much, guys. Fantastic stuff indeed. I'm on a really naughty run of pace, aren't I? Goodness gracious me. All these dodgy questions. Thank you very much to Duke. Thank you very much to Delano. And thank you very much to Flippy as well. What a race we had here in Mexico City. Tomorrow night we've got one more spin in the wheel for the final time this season in Bronson. Dan leads the championship, but it's another kick Sauber. Luke then is challenging for the championship as well. The gap is 4 points. Then I think it's now a 2-horse race in the bronze championship, which is sad because I thought I was in there as well. Jinner just a bit too far back at 53 points drift there with Dynamo Dan there as well. Tomorrow night then, Kick Sauber can win the Constructors' Championship. They're already in fighting Vettel. The Haas team and I think the Haas team and the McLaren team and the Alpine team can stop them, but it's a bit of a uphill battle. Kick Sauber could become Constructors' Champions for the second time in a week. Incredible stuff indeed. See you tomorrow night. Alexander will be taking you through the action from Bronze, and I hope to goes it is not Las Vegas or Mexico